Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to ask my future mother-in-law to move out of our house? Original post. I, 29 female, and my fiancé, 29 male, have lived in a 3-bedroom house for 3 years now. We used to rent, but when we got pregnant, we decided we were in our best financial state to get a mortgage. My parents and his parents gave us some cash to help with the down payment of our house, and we bought a house. Anyway, my fiancé renovated the house, and it is now in excellent condition. After a year, my future mother-in-law and father-in-law decided to move in with us for a year, as my father-in-law would like to travel 6 months a year overseas to visit his mom and deal with some stuff. When they moved in, they completely took over my kitchen, changed my plates and put away my appliances to use theirs, used their dining table, used the living room without considering other people. By this I mean changing the show if I paused it to go pee, and overall just using it as if they owned the house, not even considering that we have a 1-year-old living in the house. I've talked to them about it, but they just brush me off or say yeah, but then still use their stuff or do whatever they want again. A year from when they moved in has passed, and they haven't moved out yet. My father-in-law has been traveling back and forth, and my mother-in-law is being like a queen, where I have to look after her dishes, hang her laundry, clean her bathroom, etc. There are also some small habits that are driving me insane. She also tries to subtly be bit to me, and I've been keeping it all in. A few months ago, my sister visited us for an event and told us that my mother-in-law was saying that they should be able to live here as they lent us cash and also to help us with a child. She's tried to pay rent, but it's never consistent as she's not very good with finances. She will prioritize a trip with her friends instead of paying to go to the doctor. This drove me nuts because this was not true. They sporadically helped us with taking care of the child, but we also didn't know that the cash was only a loan, as they didn't tell us that. So my fiancé and I decided that we were going to pay it all off, and we finally did. My fiancé has been very supportive of me, but also feels bad for his parents, as he is an only child. I am pregnant a 2nd time now, and we would like to use the 3rd room for my baby boy, my in-laws' room. The rooms are small, so we definitely cannot fit 2 single beds in one room. My first child is a girl, and she already sleeps by herself. We decided that having another baby sleep in her room will disrupt her sleep pattern, especially because the room is small and could not fit another bed, only a small cot. We've tried to talk to my in-laws, but they are only saying they'll move soon, maybe in 3 months, or maybe next year. My fiancé has also been asking them a lot, but he doesn't get clear answers. So I want to intervene, as they rarely tell me any of their decisions, even when I'm physically in front of them. I've asked advice from my parents, and they're saying I should try to be more lenient, as it might cause some drama if I give them a final date to move out. So I'm wondering, would I be the a-hole if I give them 3 months to move out? 3 months after my baby is born. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. It's not your job, it's your husband's job. He should be the one to tell them to move out and to give them a definite date before the baby is born. They said a year. It's been a year. You've paid back the money. That's it. Done and dusted. Goodbye. I've been keeping it all in. Or you could just not do that. Let them know how you feel in the moment. You're going to be painted as the bad guy anyway, so lean into it. Thank you. I am learning to speak up for myself, and I'm hoping they get it, as they usually just pretend to hear me and not take any action. I think you're being reasonable. Personally, I can see this as a difficult situation for your husband as well, but you shouldn't be playing the role of Cinderella in your own home. It's your house, your rules, and your husband should back you up on that as well. They can keep their items in their own room. Regardless, I think it's good to see when they moved in, and if it's been more than a year, offer a few more months stay, like 2 to 3, then put a hard line. They sound entitled, so I hope they don't force an eviction process, but it will become a lot more difficult if you and your husband aren't on the same team. You don't deserve to be treated badly in your home, and the way mother-in-law treats you is unfair. She probably feels some type of way whenever she looks down on you, and that isn't okay for her to get off on bossing you. Start taking steps to protect yourself however you feel fit. Getting on the same page with your husband, finding better accommodations, or getting the eviction ready if possible, or at least start preparing backup plans in case. Thank you. I will take note of this and start making backup plans. Do your in-laws feel entitled because your husband is their only child? Did any of your in-laws' parents live with them when your husband was a child? If so, you may have a generational problem. They lived with the grandparents, father-in-law's parents, for 10 years, and they compromised because it wasn't their house. Now for the first update. Taking into account the comments, I sat with my fiancé and told him I can't take it anymore. If they, his parents, don't move out in the next 2 weeks, I will pack up my stuff and my children, and I will live with my parents, and I expect to be paid half of the value of the house. I love my fiancé, but I love myself and my kids more, and living in this situation is not good for anyone. He finally put his foot down and told his parents and gave them options on all rental places available. They have started going to inspections, but have no good things to say, so I don't know if they're serious or not. My mother-in-law has started being nice to me, but I know it's just an act. I have slowly packed all their stuff and bought things for the house, so all their furniture and appliances are now in the garage. To be sure they took this seriously, I've also packed some of my stuff and my child and unborn child stuff for when I move out, in case they don't. I can see my fiancé panicking, and I'm sad I've put him in this position, but we both know and agree this is all for the best. So thanks Reddit, and we'll see in 2 weeks. Oh, and I have stopped all chores I do for them. Now I only do chores for myself, my kid, and my fiancé, and I've asked my fiancé not to pick up their slack either. Go see a lawyer. Gather mortgage and title papers and bank statements to show you've paid on the home. If you have paperwork from your parents gifting you money, put it all in a safe place. Have the lawyer draft up a document stating equal interest in the home, and if in-laws are not out, then you are owed X amount payable in, say, 30 days. You need to protect yourself and your children. I have compiled all paperwork as a safety net. If you're in the US, your mortgage paperwork likely includes a signed letter from your in-laws stating the money they gave you was not a loan. Look for that in case they try to claim you personally owe them. I hope you've stopped cleaning and doing laundry for them. I have. One time she said the trash was full in her bathroom, and I just looked at her and said, "Not my problem." She went to empty it herself. Good Lord, is she entitled? You have a small child, another on the way, and she expects you to take care of her while she treats you like crap? Even when they do move out, you and your fiancé need to get counseling together to make sure nothing like this happens again. Now for the final update. Hi all, it's been a crazy past 2 weeks, and I've finally had a time to write this as I can't sleep and think I'm about to be in labor. Sorry this is gonna be long. I feel like I'm writing in my diary. I have a few updates. First, I spoke to my fiancé's relative, who he treats as a sibling, and the relative basically told me what most Reddit comments have told me. They mentioned that my fiancé is blind to his parents' flaws because he only had his parents when they moved countries and relied on and obeyed them fully when he was younger. But we can now see he has woken up and realized this is not normal behavior. Second, we went to couples therapy last week and are planning to continue. Both of us need to communicate more, and my fiancé broke down as he was really oblivious to his parents using him as an investment, but has now seen their ways. I also want to defend him, as I didn't give him enough credit in my previous posts. He definitely helps me, comforts me, and has gone above and beyond to support me. Lastly, on my fiancé's relatives' point of view, my mother-in-law told them that they were the ones who offered to move out, but we didn't want them to move so they can help take care of the kids. The relative knew this was BS and told her, "Oh, I thought your son needed you out because they need all their rooms now," and mother-in-law was seemingly shocked and just said, "Oh, they will need my help." But now they have moved out. It was rough. The in-laws were not making it easy. They would go to open houses late, which I think was on purpose to miss them, and my fiancé took time off of his 2 jobs to make sure they went to check and inspect rentals and sign on the rentals. He said there was no stopping until they found one, basically leaving them no choice. So, thank God, they are officially out. And I've changed the locks. We're setting up the nursery, and I can finally breathe. My fiancé and I are planning on selling this house and buying another one in a year so that we can start fresh after I give birth and after our wedding, without the bad memories of my in-laws in our house. Thanks Reddit for being my older sister and brother when my siblings told me to suck it up as they really don't know how I feel. I can't believe the only one who told me to stand up to my in-laws, aside from you guys, was my fiancé's relative. Maybe because they're the only one who truly knew them. I think my son is now ready to come out. Congrats. Glad hubby is growing a spine. Keep it shiny. Do not ever let the in-laws show up with suitcases or any kind of just for a few days type of visit. Don't ask them to house sit or pet sit, as I will wager they will just get nested and refuse to leave again. I don't know why, but I have that feeling they're gonna try to do this. If they do, Reddit will definitely know. Be smart. Get cameras and up your security all around the property so you know when visitors or unwanted families show up, and go with an electronic door lock that uses individual codes. The best way is to get one that allows you to give someone temporary access that expires at a time you set. Don't give keys to the in-laws, and honestly, don't even let them stay the night. You may come home one day and they'll have just set up like they're staying. The camera and door lock will give you the warning you need, so you can call them and tell them to leave. Or call the cops if need be. Learn the law too. Know exactly what it takes to be considered a resident of your home in your area. In some places, staying as little as 7 days gives them rights. Oh, and don't forget the no trespassing sign. And if you feel you want a little distance from his family, or anyone for that matter, remember, if you move, you're not actually obligated to give anyone your new address. We have the Ring doorbell, and we're planning to add one in front of our garage and one on our side gate because it doesn't show on the Ring doorbell. So happy to hear they are gone and marriage counseling is going well. Good luck with the baby. My fiancé has been stepping it up as he should. I'll show him this post after I give birth. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling the police on my husband and refusing to let him back in the house? Original post. I, 38 female, and my husband, 40 male, have been together 12 years, married for 7. Over the past few years, he has gotten more and more lazy with helping with things around the house. Today my parents were coming by to visit, and I figured we could cut our grass while they were here, and they could watch our kids. We have twin toddler girls. He slept on and off most of the day, not unusual on the weekends. He does anything to get out of helping with our kids. I discussed this with them before they came over. They got there late afternoon, and it was hot outside. We live in the South, and the heat can be exhausting. If you know, you know. I was willing to help get it done, so neither of us was out in the heat for very long. After my parents arrived, he disappeared, and I found him asleep. I woke him and told him I was going to start cutting the yard. He got mad and said that I was making him look bad, and like he isn't capable of doing the yard by himself. We argued, and ultimately he said he didn't need my help and cut the yard. The entire time, he came in and out of the house making rude comments and just being rude to me and my family. After they left, he continued to get more aggressive and angry. He threw pillows, toys, and books at me, called me names, and brought up old arguments, all in front of the kids. I asked him multiple times to leave and he refused, so I just started to ignore him. After more arguing, he got in my face and shook the chair I was in, and when that didn't work, he threw a pillow at my head. I finally snapped and told him he either leaves or I call the police. He refused to leave. I called the police, and when they were on the way, he decided to leave. They came and spoke with me, but ultimately left because he didn't hurt me and he left on his own. He continued to call and text horrible things until he realized I wasn't answering. Now that he has calmed down, he is messaging me, telling me he doesn't feel good, he is dizzy and sick to his stomach, and just needs somewhere in the air conditioning to lay down. He promised to stay in the living room and not bother me or the kids. I told him no, that I didn't feel comfortable with him here. Now he is calling me the a-hole for letting him suffer when he doesn't feel good. He says because I am a nurse I should be more caring. Even after everything, and as mad as I am at him, I still feel bad because I don't want to abandon him into this heat in the middle of summer. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments before the mini update. Not the a-hole. Your husband wasn't just being lazy. He escalated to verbal abuse and throwing things at you in front of your kids. That crosses a line. You did the right thing by calling the police. Your safety and your children's safety come first. Thank you. He is testing your boundaries. Next time, it won't be pillows that are thrown. And the time after that, it's probably not just you gets things thrown at them. Screw him and don't let him in. That is my fear. That one day it might be something else, or he may hit one of our kids on accident. Not the a-hole. He needs to, 1, go to the doctor and get a full checkup to see if he has a medical condition causing him to be so sleepy and lazy. 2, he needs therapy to learn how his behavior was terrible, how he is teaching his daughters this is okay, and that it is okay if their future partners treat them the same way. 3, I'm not sure I would let him back in either. He can go to a friend's, a hotel, his car, or his family. I do think he needs to see a doctor and a therapist. I hope I can get him to do both. Thank you for the suggestion. Mini update. I did not let him back in. I locked the garage door so the remotes wouldn't work and made sure all doors and windows were locked. I woke up this morning to 2 flat tires. He must have done that before he left. Then while I was trying to air them up with our air compressor, he parked behind me and a family member who helps take my children to daycare so he couldn't leave to go to work or daycare. He finally moved after I threatened to call the police again. He has been messaging me all day, calling me all kinds of names and threatening to come to my job and have me fired and or deflate my tires again. He also threatened to plant drugs in my car and have me arrested, and to call the police on me and say I hit him so I would go to jail for DV. Needless to say, I am going to see a lawyer this week and figure out my options. The police said they can't make him leave his own home, so it looks like I either have to leave and find somewhere to go short term, or live there with him until I can move.